For all the wonderful things you've done, for all the victories that you have won, as joy comes with the rising sun. Kodiaga Allah, for giving us your only son, for letting us to stand as one, for giving us hope until you come. Kodiaga Allah, Shiabamu, Shiabamu, Salam, Silvashi Kodia, Kodiaga Allah.
Hello again, and welcome to another episode of One-on-One with Ann and Priscilla. This program is presented by International Committee on Nigeria for the campaign Hear Their Voices. Again, my name is Priscilla Ozodo Acevedo, and with me today is Ann, and it's such a pleasure to be with you. How are you doing this week, Ann?
It's been a good week. Thank you. Yeah, I've been thinking a lot about the last video that we saw, where they were having a celebration, and the woman was talking about how the attack on her village with the Fulani militants coming in, and how they felt like they had no strength to take care of the people who needed taking care of because everybody was traumatized, and they were pleading for help from America. I remember that. So
yeah, this is it's weighed heavy on my heart how uninvolved the government is, one, and how vulnerable these people are to the attacks of Fulani militants without security. They're without security. Today we get the opportunity to hear from another brave survivor of an attack in a village. This broke my heart. Again, stay tuned and hear her voice.
I am from Kaura local government, Kaduna State. I am from the Kagoro tribe. Our village was attacked on July 19th. A young man found a young woman that he wanted to marry. So there we were at the celebration. We were there at the wedding celebrating. The children were dancing. Out of nowhere, the Fulani militants came out of nowhere and just started shooting. The children were just running, and as they were running, they were just shooting them. They followed them and shot them down. They shot over 17 people. We took those we could to the hospital. Some we lost along the way, and the rest are still in the hospital struggling. The experience is like when you can't sleep. They came to our village, and it was like war. Gunfire everywhere, just like war. That night, there was no way to fall asleep because of the kinds of guns being used that they brought into the village.
She said it was like war. I can't even begin to imagine, but it's living in peace one day and experiencing war the next day. I think the question that boggles my mind, and is just the wonderment of why children are the target of these militants. Because in a lot of situations, you see they target able-bodied men, but there's a specific, from week after week, we're finding out that there's a specific target on children and young adults. And that concerns me. I don't know about you all at home, wherever you're watching this, on your phone, on your TV, but many of you have little children. And I want you to pause for a moment and just imagining them as targets of violence. And personally, I don't understand it. I mean, in Nigeria, they say, there's a huge slogan that says children are the future of tomorrow, and children are the ones that are going to represent the culture for the next generation. They take care of the elders. So there might be some kind of plan to eradicate the culture or to end a generation. And I still don't understand. And do you have any thoughts as to why children might be the targets for this?
I mean, to me, it seems like it's because they are trying to cripple this culture and it does seem like they are trying to wipe out the young people in some ways. I mean, because we keep hearing about how they are the ones targeted. And like you said, it used to be men who were targeted. And now it's women and children we keep hearing about seem to be the target, and living peacefully. Now sleeping is a problem. Being able to sleep, being able to just not have any sense of security anymore. I mean, I know in Jos, when things were erupting with riots and such, we never had at least where I was, we never heard constant gunfire. We never heard that kind of thing. And I cannot imagine what it was like to be in a village where you have nowhere to go and nobody to help you.
I think the hardest part, as I imagine this village, is they were having a wedding. And weddings in smaller villages are like the talk of the town. Everyone is invited. Children, it's the joy of the town. And trying to imagine them, the person who was next, the next person who was planning a wedding, the next young man who is trying to get married. How will they, what sense of security will they have to plan another event? And I'm bringing this to the forefront of our mind because sometimes we can listen to things and it's blurry, and we don't realize, like, who is the next young lady that is planning her wedding? How bold will she be to step out and invite the village to come celebrate, knowing that this happened in the past? There's a physical crippling and there's a psychological crippling of an entire culture. And do you have any thoughts about that?
Yeah, I agree with you. And when it hits town after town, it makes it regional, and it just creates so much fear within the communities. And there's just, unless they get some kind of help to work through the trauma psychologically, or to get help physically, to have security be involved, the country's security, which isn't. And that's another theme that keeps coming through, is there's nobody to help. Nobody coming through with anything. They have to take care of themselves, just like the woman last week said. It's we have to take care of ourselves, and we're victims ourselves.
It's like victims caring for victims. I think you said that last week, and it's just it's a heartbreaking situation where the people who are mentally traumatized are caring for those who are physically traumatized. The people who have lost family are caring for loved ones, and it's heartbreaking. But we need to pause and hear and listen to what exactly we're being told, and listen to how we can stand with these families. Let's take a moment and continue to hear this particular story.
Many children, their schooling has stopped, and the children they have killed are young. The ones that died were young children, the children of tomorrow. They were the ones that were killed, all there, the women, small children. Well, the older women are of age and are not physically strong. Due to what happened, no one can sleep once it's nighttime. We are all fearful. We haven't seen any help. We just can't sleep. We can't go to the farm. We need help with food. There is hunger. There is sickness and trauma. Just so many old people struggling. All that I can do is speak about what is happening so that the world will know. The people that I know listen. Because what is happening in southern Kaduna, it is said to be retaliation. I want to ask what we did to be retaliated upon in this way. What kind of dispute do we have between us that causes such a retaliation? I really want the narrative that these were retaliation killings to be changed. I want to know what we did. This is for how long that they have been retaliating and killing people. What did we do? The kind of help I feel we need is the kind of help that will end this. The kind of help that will allow the children to go to school. Help that will help those in the hospital that need to undergo surgery. Just yesterday, when I went, they were looking for people to give blood and pay for a fee of 600,000 naira. There was a woman shot on both of her breasts, another woman in her stomach, and another on her back. It's so bad, the stool comes out of the wound on her back. Some of the injuries are so bad, there's no money for those injured. They are tired of the pain and are just begging for death. These are the things we need help with.
They are tired of the pain and they're begging for death. She mentions sickness, hunger, and fear. Our hearts are crying out, and the joy is we get to hear her story. I just want to address everybody that's listening right now. It's not a coincidence. It's not an accident that you get to be on right now. The fact that you're hearing this is an indication that you can do something about it. So I did this last week, and I just want us to pause and enter into that story with our mind, because you can hear just with your ears and let it pass. I just want to share something briefly, Anne, if I may. I was talking to a friend this week and talking about why they're not engaging with this kind of issues. And they said, I know it's true, I know it's hard, but I have greater concerns in my life. How would you speak to the average American who has their own mortgage, they have their own bills, they have, they need to take care of their life, they have to create a future for themselves? How would you challenge them to step out of their world? Because I was stumped when this person said this and said, I know it's true, I know it's hard, but this is not my problem right now. I need to focus on my life. What are some things that we can say to people to see this clearly? Because obviously this person has access to these videos, but chose not to watch it because they said it will upset me, and I don't want to be upset in that way because I have things to do. What would your suggestion be for them?
I mean, everybody has the ability to write a letter. It doesn't have to be financial. I know people are financially strapped, many people right now with COVID in the US and around the world. But also, a little money goes a long way in Nigeria.
Yes.
She talked about the medical bills, and they are not nearly as high as they are here. They're fractional. And so even giving a little bit can be helpful.
Yeah.
If somebody wants to give money, that's very significant to a family. It can really impact them. And it's really heartbreaking to hear people. I had a similar situation, and it's hard to focus on other people while you're having your own struggles. I just keep thinking these people are in a war zone. They're in a war. Their houses, I mean, they just need to survive. They're looking for food, they're looking for medical care. This is survival on a life and death situation. So, I mean, when you hear about the injuries that these women got from these gunshots, they're horrendous injuries, and they're begging to die, some of them.
I think the biggest thing for me that helped me to get out of my head was to realize that comparing survival to luxury, like this is a life and death situation. It's like comparing apples to apples. It's their lives at stake, not just their livelihood, not just a meal in a day, but they're dying. People are dying. People are begging for death because they can't stand the life that they have available to them. I want to challenge you who is watching right now, you who is listening. Don't just allow yourself to go there in your mind, but take it to your Bible study, your small group, your community, and challenge them to hear the stories and have conversations. Because sometimes it's in talking with somebody else that you help them to empathize with what's happening in Nigeria. And like Ann said, a lot of us, COVID is bad. COVID is terrible. And many of you have lost jobs. Many of you have lost income. But there's always something you can do. Learning is half the battle. Learning about what's happening, and I'm sure you'll agree with me. Just being aware. We were talking as a team earlier today, and we were saying just being aware. Since we've been doing this program, just allowing ourselves to get educated has gone a long way, right, Ann?
It sure has.
It's changed mindset.
Yeah. I just want to talk about what she said at one point is the retaliation.
Yes.
She doesn't understand this. What are they retaliating for? What have they, the victims, the people in this village who are vulnerable, what have they done to these Fulanis? What kind of dispute have they had? Why are they being targeted? And she didn't have an answer to it. She doesn't know. And so another thing we can do is help to change the narrative that's been reported. So even the reporting isn't always accurate. And so she doesn't want everybody to think that they have done something to be retaliated upon. So I think that's something else we can do.
Yes, from people who may not be aware of what's going on in Nigeria, there hasn't been a militant attack on any of the on that is being retaliated upon. This is a normal, peaceful farming community. And when she says, "What have we done?" It's a genuine question. It's not a rhetorical question. These are Fulani militants that are acting as a terrorist organization, I believe. And so we can start changing that narrative from here. From here. Share this on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Retweet this. Someone sitting in your home like, okay, what do I do? You can go to icanhelp.org/engage. There's a little arrow there. If you click on that arrow, there are two options. You can select hear their voices. And when you go to hear their voices, it gives you specific instructions on how to give. When you give and receive a receipt, you can specify and say, I would like my money to go towards helping the women in the hospital. You can have direct impact on these communities. You here in the US that feels like, what can I do to make a difference in the world? Like Ann said, a little can go a long way.
Yeah, I think that what you've been saying all along is take a step.
Yes.
That no action is too small. Taking a step. I think it is really difficult to empathize in some ways. It hurts because it really hurts. It hurts for you to hear these stories and feel so helpless and feel the helplessness and the vulnerability that they're experiencing. And that's not nice. That doesn't feel good. That's uncomfortable. But I think, you know, opening yourself up to that and to be aware is huge.
And that's so good. That is absolutely amazing. You just hit the nail on the head. It doesn't feel good, and we want to acknowledge that, but it's a step to open yourself up to that. If you didn't get anything today, please listen to what Ann just said. Open yourself up to the discomfort of the massacre, the slaughter that's happening in southern Kaduna, the massacre that's happening in Nigeria. Go to iconhelp.org/here-their-voices, or you can just go to engage and it will direct you there. And take a step. Take a step. Do you know something that helps that pain that doesn't feel good? Something that helps take that away a little bit is actually doing something about it. And for some of you, the only thing you can do right now is share this broadcast. I beg. That's how we plead in Nigeria. I beg.
That's
Share
true.
this broadcast. We're still incentivizing it. This is the second week we're giving away. We're picking one random person to give a free hat and one random person to give a free t-shirt. You'll have to share this broadcast with the hashtag Hear Their Voices, hashtag #1on1AP, or hashtag Silent Slaughter. And you get the opportunity to receive, we'll pick one random person to receive a free t-shirt and one random person to receive a free hat. This is huge, y'all. We need to talk about this. We need to get the word out. If there's nothing else you can do, like Ann said, you can contact your representative, and we're not saying go, find out who your representative, write on Icon Help. I didn't realize this, but write on iconhelp.org. You can connect with your representative. You can click on find my representative, right? We've done the work for you. You're welcome.
So easy.
It's so easy. You can do something regardless of who you are and where you're at. So iconhelp.org. Again, thank you. This has been a pleasure. And do you have any last words?
No, I think it's been an honor to be able to bring this to the forefront and discuss this and share this time with you, Priscilla. And we do want to talk about an event that's happening in Washington, D.C. on Wednesday. It's to bring more awareness to the country.
Yes, we have Benjamin Watson and some other special guests. We're bringing awareness on a larger scale about what's going on in Nigeria. Now, this is a virtual event, so you can all join us in DC this weekend, virtually, of course, on Wednesday, this week, on Wednesday, the 16th at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We would love to share more. This is bringing this conversation on a much bigger scale. We want to have you hear from these people and receive awareness. It will give you some more tools. So if this has helped you, you don't want to miss Wednesday. You don't want to miss Wednesday. So we encourage you, share this information, go to our Instagram page, go to our Facebook and Twitter accounts. You will get more information about this. If you have any questions at all, please contact us. Send us a message. Leave a comment right here on the broadcast. We will definitely get back to you. And don't forget, repost this with the hashtag #1on1AP, hashtag Silent Slaughter, or hashtag Hear their voices. It's been such a blessing to be with you today. And we'll be back next week. We're not going anywhere.
See you then. That's right.
Yes.
Have a great week.
Have a great week.
Bye.